Hi everyone, and welcome to the Publishing Performance Show. I'm here with Eiri, who's the founder and the CEO of Publisher Champ, which is an amazing platform for tracking your Amazon book sales, plus sales from other platforms. We'll get into that as we go through the show. So thank you for coming to the show, Eiri.
Thank you very much, Steve, for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm more than happy to discuss how Publisher Champ works. And
Brilliant. So why don't you just give us a bit of background about who you are and why you started Publisher Champ in the first place?
Sure. So I'm originally from Cyprus. I moved in the UK the past 8 years. I'm a software engineer myself. I'm not an author, but my brother-in-law is an author. He does it in his spare time. So it was 4 or 5 summers ago. We're just back home and we're chilling, and I saw him just being stuck at his phone, scrolling the whole time, zooming in, trying to figure out what's going on. And he will do that constantly, every few hours. And I asked him, "What are you doing there?" He said, "Oh, I just released a new book, and I just want to see the pre-orders, how they progressed, and also any new sales and stuff like that." And I said, "Okay." I had no idea about KDP at the time or Amazon. And he explained to me the business model and how it works with Amazon handling everything. And I was surprised that I never heard of that. I mean, I had audiobooks. I have heard of audiobooks in the past. I was listening to audiobooks, but I didn't know that behind the scenes, that's how it worked. And I told him, there's no platform that you can use, can notify you about sales, pre-orders, or anything like that. And he said to me, there are a couple of platforms that they don't notify you. Maybe they're not user-friendly on the phone and stuff like that. So me being, at the time I was at the university, and I was like, okay, let me just pick up this project and see how it goes. Why not? And that was the 4 summers ago. I tried that. I failed. Next summer I go back. He released another book, so he was releasing books every summer. He has his free time, so he was again stuck on his phone. I was like, "Are you still doing that?" He's like, "Yeah, no one has entered the market to fulfill those needs." And that's when I said, "Okay, I'll figure it out. I will release something." And that was the MVP that I released, basically the minimum viable product, where you just synchronize your account with Amazon and you get notified when you have a sale or a pre-order or any Kindle Unlimited reads. That was it. That was the idea. And it started being shared in communities, on Facebook, on Reddit, here and there. And people started asking me about statistics and how can I improve that. And that's when I started building the product. It was purely because I'm not an author myself, so I didn't know the needs of an author. That's how I've been building it for the past 4 or 5 years now. Getting feedback, reiterating on that feedback, releasing an update, getting more feedback, and building it to the product that it is now that helps thousands of authors.
Amazing. I mean, a lot of the people listening might not have heard of Publisher Champ yet, but I'd really take some chance to go and have a look at the website because it's a really, really nice looking platform. And so my background is originally I was an Amazon seller. I still do sell on Amazon, and there's lots of tools on Amazon that, there's one that's like Sellerboard. It's really good for helping you with like creating a P&L. And I was always thinking there's something like this missing for authors as well, because the KDP report is so rubbish. It's so difficult to understand unless you really do have like a data head on. So it's nice to have those charts and things that breaks everything down so that you can actually see if you're profitable.
Yeah. And one of the things that we see when authors on board and they get excited is being able to have the whole 360 view of how your business is performing. Of course, if you're taking it as a business or your side hustle, because the KDP reports gives you your royalties, and then you have your Amazon ads or your Facebook ads that give you the spending. Then you might need hundreds of Excel files or Excel sheets to put them together to figure out, am I making money or am I losing money? And then you have to dig even deeper on the lower level to see per book, am I making or losing money? So Publisher Champ puts everything together. It automates the whole process, so you don't have to worry about doing that every day. It does it for you constantly in real time. So if your books are making money, if your business is in the green or is in the red, how can you improve based on you can make informative decisions based on the analytics that you see.
Yeah, exactly. Because one of the things that, obviously with publishing performance, one of the things we look at is your ads. And a lot of authors forget to look at that sort of overall cost of sales within their book. So they're not really sure if they're making money on it or not. So let's have a look at some of the features that your business has, that Publisher Champ has for KDP businesses. Like how does the platform help authors? Like, how is it different to just looking at your Amazon reports?
Yeah. So the first thing that you are missing, I guess, from the Amazon report itself is the granularity. you are able to see the overall how your top books and maybe the top marketplaces and how they're performing there. But then you want to dig deeper and see trends, how a specific book has performed this month compared to last year the same month, or being able to see have the whole view where you're pulling the spending along with the royalties, and how you can compare and say, okay, I spent €100 or $100 or £100 and I've made 200. Okay, I'm making profit. A lot of people tend to have them because they're decoupled, that you have the Amazon ads and you have the royalties. You tend to look at one of the two sides and you're like, okay, my sales are up today, but then you forget to look at that your spending has doubled. Or the other way around, you look at just on the spending and you're like, okay, I get clicks, but then how does that convert in royalties at the end of the day? So Publisher puts all those together, gives you the granularity, has a lot of filters that you can apply so that you can focus, let's say, on your new release that gets released next month, and focus on how the pre-orders are progressing. And we have a lot of utilities in there that you can create what we call the journal events. So for example, you know that Q4 is coming and you want to have a release in Q4. Let's say in November, you want to release your third book in the series. You are able to add a journal event that will show in all your graphs as a annotation, and you know that the time is coming. So when you look at your statistics, you have that annotation. So it's like keeping a calendar in your notes and everything. And then once that day, you hit that day and that you pass that journal event, then you can see the trend, how your sales are progressing. So you're saying, okay, why did if you didn't have that option, you go on your KDP reports and you're like, oh, my sales skyrocketed the past 2 weeks. Why? And you don't know why. Maybe you forgot, you didn't take a note, you didn't know what strategies you followed. But with Publisher Champ, you record that, you have it in your graphs, it stayed there forever, and then you look back and say, oh, 2 years ago on November, during Q4, I released my third book. And that's why I see that nice trend where I don't see it now. That means I might need to release a new book. Maybe I need to change the covers or anything like that. And that's very important for authors. But we have another more important than this utility, where is the read-through and sell-through rates. Is something that we took through few other courses, and we collaborated with other marketers or different course creators, that basically automatically you can see how your books in the series, so 1, 2, 3, 4, how the read-through and the sell-through rates go through from your book one to all the other books. So you know if, okay, 30% of my readers read the first book and then they read the second book. Okay, but the third book, 80% from the first book read the third book. So something is happening with the second book. So it helps you, it automates this whole complicated process of all these math complexities behind the scenes, to know that you can spot and say, okay, something happened with this book. What did happen? And then you can change, you can check on your side and be like, oh, I changed the cover and most probably tanked my sales, or I changed the cover and it boosted my sales. So I need to follow that process, or the other way around, vice versa. You need to change the cover so that you can boost them again. So it helps you with all this. And of course, it has a lot of other utilities, but we've built this platform that is fully customizable. You can change anything and everything. So from how the graphs look, how the currencies are being displayed, you can add your taxes on both the spending and the royalties. So you have a more real time what the money will hit your bank at the end of the day on the royalties. Plus, you can change the colors. You can change anything you want. That way, any author that either feels overwhelmed by the numbers or wants more statistics, you can fully customize that. And that's one of the things that differentiates us from all the other platforms, which is a standard platform that you log in and you're like, okay, I feel overwhelmed. You log out and then you're like, okay, it's not something I need, right?
Yeah, definitely. So with that book series tool that you've got, that is really clever. So can it tell, like, can it track a particular buyer, or is it just using the overall sales and making assumptions on?
No, it is the overall sales. Amazon does not share the buyer's, personal information, so you know that this is a specific buyer, but it catches up on trends, and it has the algorithm behind the scenes that, based on 1,000, 2,000 sales or whatever you have, or maybe less or maybe more, it catches that pattern, compares it with other patterns, and put it together to give you the overall idea. Of course, everything is just an estimate, because as you mentioned, we do not have the exact buyer and what the journey was, but it gives you a pretty good idea. And a lot of people take those calculations and apply them to their advertising, because they know that, okay, the second book is not performing that well, so I might need to increase my advertising, or the other way around. And that helps them boost their business and scale it up.
Yeah, that's really important, I think, because especially for a lot of fiction authors, they write their first book as like a kind of a way of getting people's attention. You know, they want to get people into their series. They buy the second and the third, and that's when that profitability comes in. I know a lot of authors that actually run their first book sometimes at even a loss because they just want to get people into that series. So if you can track, okay, my first book's having 1,000 purchases or whatever, and then the second book is having half that amount, at least you can see, okay, you can work out how much money you should be spending on ads for that first book. So you can then start to really work out if it's profitable or not.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the idea. When you have to do this manually, you either there's two scenarios. You are really good at doing that, but it takes you hours, or you are not that good at calculating this, so you is very prone to errors. So you end up getting, whole confused and overwhelmed, and you're like, okay, I can't figure this out, and then you give up. So in both cases, you are either losing your confidence in understanding your analytics, or you're losing your hours trying to figure out even if you're good at it, right? So you need something that can do it for you. You know it works. You know thousands of authors are using it, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go based on this. This is what I can see here. This is the decision I need to make. And then you just take it from there. It takes all that complexity of understanding and getting overwhelmed, takes that away. You look at your numbers, you understand them, and then you are able to apply to your business so that you can scale.
Yeah, incredible. Now, there's obviously the main KPIs you want to be tracking, obviously sales, how many page reads you've got if you're in doing the Kindle Unlimited, and also conversion rates if you're doing your ads, and so you can track how well they're working. What are the main KPIs you think that people should be tracking that maybe are a bit overlooked?
Yeah. So the main one, which is either the return on investment or the return on advertisement spend, so the ROAS, a lot of people know it.
Yes.
We have two metrics on Publisher Champ, which is a game changer for our authors. You have the normal ROI, the Amazon, as we call it, ROI, AMS ROI, which is basically using the sales value on the Amazon ads. And
ROI
the
is
ROI,
return on investment.
we have the AMS ROI, the Amazon ROI, where basically it uses the Amazon ads sales number compared
Yeah.
to how much you spent, and then it calculates that. And then we have the what we call the overall ROI, which is basically using the royalties that you got from KDP compared to how much you spent to give you if you are profitable or not. And why
Mm.
that the difference there is basically the sales number you see on the Amazon ads is not the money that will go in your pocket because there is printing costs, there is the publishing cost, there is the whole delivery cost, and all the other things that go into play
Yeah.
to eventually reach the royalty number, which
Yeah.
is one of the things that a lot of authors confuse. And they think, okay, my Amazon ads are showing that I have $100 in sales and I spent $50. That means I'm profitable, right? I'm getting 2x on my money. But actually, that's not the royalties. Maybe the
Yeah.
royalties are only $40 because there's a whole shipping, there's some returns, there's XYZ. Then at the end of the day, if you put them together, you realize that, okay, I didn't make money on this campaign. So, and that's the one very important, a couple of very important KPIs that we have on Publisher Champ that helps you take this ambiguity and confusion and understand that the numbers you see right there is what you will take in your pocket and if you're actually profitable or not. And we made it super intuitive, very intuitive that you see red, it means you're losing money. You see green, it means we are making money. And we have it at a very granular level. So we have
Yeah.
it per book, we have it per country, so per marketplace, and then we have it per overall your whole account. So being able to see those things very quickly, it is a whole game changer because you don't need to calculate all this. You don't need to put them together. You don't need to know the exchange rates from euros to dollars or from euros to pounds to be able to compare how much you're spending in the United Kingdom and how much you're spending in the US to compare them to US and all those things, all those complexities just don't exist anymore.
Yeah, definitely. What as sort of we touched on earlier, but when you're looking at ads, especially, you've got to think what is your return on investment because obviously you want your ads overall to be profitable. That is the main aim. But sometimes at first, especially if you're launching, those ads aren't profitable. But you've got to look at them as a part of your overall sales. Because if you just look at your ad campaign, sometimes that particular campaign might not be profitable, but you have the knock-on effects of your ad improving your organic rank, for example, and making organic sales. So yeah, that's really great that you can see that return on investment because you need to see it's not just how much you spent and how much money you're getting in. It's about what that return on investment is as a percentage of how much you've spent, which is really great sort of statistic to see.
Yeah. And adding to that, now that you mentioned it, we have another functionality where you are able to see how your BSR bestseller ranking is changing over time compared
Yep.
to your royalties and spending. So you are able to see, for example, if you spend X amount of money, my bestseller rank has dropped, which means it's performing, my book is going higher up in the rank. And when I stop spending, it increased again, or the other way around. And you are able to see everything in one graph and understand over a specific time period, or you can go all time since you published your book until now and see how the BSR has been changing compared to how much you're making, how much you're spending. So that way can again give you an idea of, okay, when I was spending double the money, my bestseller rank was way lower, which means I was getting organic sales as well, which means it was, as you said, that knock-on effect that has
Yep.
helped my business. And that's why I was maybe on that particular book, I was losing money, but overall for my store, for my pen name, I was making money because of that ranking of that book that a lot of readers, me myself as well, when I'm gonna go and buy a book, I go and also see the books that author has published. So you might have clicked on the ad to go on the specific book, but then you decide to buy something else. Of course, you for that campaign, it would say that this book didn't have any sales, but I purchased another book, which can be considered an organic one because I went from the ad for one book, but I purchased the third book of that author that got published a year later or whatever. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you are losing money as long as you are able to improve your bestseller ranking, as long as your business overall is making money.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's quite overlooked. A
Yeah.
lot of people just think, okay, they just look at the percentages and they think, okay, it looks okay, but you've got to look at that overall return on investment. Now, apart from that, are there any other metrics that people should really be tracking, especially as their ads go on? So I'm thinking about things like click-through rates and ad spend, and the cost per acquisition. Do you are there any other KPIs like that you think people really should be paying attention to?
Yeah, there are a couple of metrics that the authors shouldn't be discouraged from, I would say. So, if I may start from that, is that usually a lot of authors get a bit concerned about the impressions. So, impressions doesn't mean much. Of course, you want to have impressions, but if you don't have clicks, so the click-through rate is very important. So, you get clicks and then you have the click-through rate. So, you need to, if you have 2 impressions and 0 clicks, that's you haven't tested enough. If you have 1 million impressions but 0 clicks, there is something wrong there. Yes, that's worth investigating. So we do have those KPIs so you can have a look. But as long as you can get a nice click-through rate, which is one of the, as I said, the KPIs that we have, then it doesn't guarantee that you're gonna get sales. I mean, someone clicked, they went there, we'll see if they convert or not eventually. But it means that you get visibility on your store or on your book. And Amazon takes all this into account because the more views your store gets, and if some of them do convert, then your seller rankings are gonna drop, which means you're gonna rank higher into the catalog, and that's very important. But we also do have the organic versus inorganic orders that we track those KPIs. So you can see, for example, for the last 2 months, I've had 15 organic orders and 50 organic orders, let's say, for a simple scenario. So you know that you are getting a lot of inorganic orders from your ads, as we call them. So ad orders, inorganic orders. And those most probably are driving also organic ones because your seller ranking has dropped, more visibility. And you can see those trends in the graphs and be able to track those with the different KPIs that we have is very important. And one extra thing that we also have is you get the overall ROAS, so the return on advertising spend, as well as the AMS ROAS. Again, that uses the AMS one uses the Amazon sales, and the other one, the overall, uses the royalties, which is very important so you can understand your
Yeah.
business. And then we also have various other KPIs that you can see per book format how you're performing. So a lot of authors overlook to understand the power of Kindle Unlimited reads. So how the whole Kindle Unlimited reads are performing, bringing a lot of revenue. And then maybe the paperback is having way more a substantial chunk of your business compared to your hardcover or compared to your ebooks. You might not know that just looking at your KDP dashboard because you can see the royalties, But then when you go to looking at more deep, high level, low level, compared to for every book, that's when it gets overwhelming on the KDP dashboard. You can't figure that much. But on our side, everything is simplified so that you can just go in there and understand, okay, this book format is making a lot more money, whereas the other format is not making as much. Maybe I need to do this and that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Now, I know that Publisher Champ also tracks ads coming from Meta, for example, from Facebook and Instagram ads and things like that. And plus, you also got your sales from the other platforms, like eventually it'll be Kobo, but you got Barnes and Noble as well. But with the Meta ads, have you noticed whether people have been more successful with Meta ads compared to doing it with Amazon? Have you got that data to see which is maybe a better platform, or does it just completely depend on the book?
Well, from the few authors, I mean, I talked with hundreds of authors over the months, and the ones that they were able to, give me the permission to look at the data and help them, and maybe they have questions and stuff like that. I'm always happy to jump on a call, but I can see it depends on the genre of the book, but I have seen along with the other authors that if you know how to advertise on Facebook, it can quadruple or even more your business, and it has way bigger effect than advertising on Amazon. But
Wow.
Amazon is way simpler, I would say, to advertise than Meta, because Meta has so many ads, and people just don't go just on Facebook to look at and find books and read new books. They just pop up as advertisements.
Yeah.
Your ad needs to be very optimized so that you can get the right audience and get the right traffic. But the good thing about Meta is that you can retarget your audience with your ads and sell them
Yes.
more books and then more books and then more books. Whereas with Amazon ads, you advertise, someone clicked, you got a sale, but then unless you use attribution and still you don't know your audience, you cannot retarget that audience. You don't have the functionality to retarget that either with a pixel or with the different functionalities that Meta offers. So it's a different game. The end goal is for both the same, to have to maximize your sales. But I can say pretty confidently that if you know how to do Facebook ads, or if you know someone that can, or you use an agency, it will be way more profitable than Amazon ads.
Yep.
Not because Amazon doesn't work. It's just that people on Facebook, if you target the right audience, you can target it again and again and again. So in the long run, it will be way more profitable.
But is it possible to actually track a Facebook ad all the way through to a sale, or is it based on estimates? Because I wasn't sure if you can actually see whether someone's clicked on an ad then bought it in the same way as you can with Amazon.
Yeah, you won't know the person, the actual person or their location or their browser, so you can advertise, but you know the audience. So because you set up the different filters to
Hmm.
target specific keywords, just like with Amazon, but you people on Facebook tend to be way more proactive on clicking, have a tendency to click on ads way more than they will click on the Amazon ads. Because on Amazon, if you look for a book, there's thousands of books around, and you just can click on any of them, right? And you might lose a customer immediately. Whereas on Facebook, the ad comes up, and then you're just going for that book only. So you just
Yeah.
land on the page and you decide if you should purchase it or not. It's just that there are a lot of other metrics that Meta gives you that you can use and utilize so that you are able to retarget that audience that have worked, and you can do A/B testing and all those things that Amazon ads do have. That they're not as granular, and that's why it's easier to advertise on Amazon, and that's why the return on investment on Facebook might be better, just because of the complexity, and it's not as easy for everyone to just enter in there and be successful. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I've seen over the years is that people that advertise on Facebook, they tend to spend more money. So, and they see it more in the long run. Whereas people that advertise on Amazon, yeah, of course, that doesn't capture everyone. I'm just saying from my experience, is people get put off way easier when advertising on Amazon. Like they advertise, they spend a few $100 or whatever the budget is, and then they're like, oh, it didn't convert to anything. But they might be just at the tip of the iceberg, right? They just need to fine grain, optimize that just a little bit more to actually hit the big jackpot there. So, and with Facebook, the people that go into that, because it's so complex to set everything up, because they already spend hours and hours setting everything up, they just don't give up that easily. And
Yeah.
and actually, when they figure out that audience, then it's just where whatever they advertise there, it gets clicks, it has sales, it just produces more. But when publishing comes into play is that it automatically again pulls the data from Meta. So you authorize our app, we're official partners with Meta, so you can automatically pull the data and then it allocates it to the correct books so that you know immediately that this campaign on Meta is corresponding to this book and I'm making money. And then we show you how your Amazon ads and Facebook ads, we distinct the two. So you see how they're performing per book. So that way, you know if you're making money on Meta or on Amazon. And of course, don't get me wrong, there are people that are very successful with just Amazon ads. It doesn't mean that you need to do either or both. You can do whatever you want as long as you are very persistent and you just treat it right. You just don't just go in without any statistics and you're like, okay, I spent $200. It didn't bring anything. I should stop. No, I mean, thousands, if not millions of other authors are doing that and they're successful. You just need to be persistent and just try to refine it again and again and don't be put off by the numbers and understand how it works and then just go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Now, one of the other features I noticed is you've got the smart links tracking. So when I've got in my books, most of my books are nonfiction. So I have links in my book. For example, I might have affiliate links to some other products. I might also have QR codes driving people back to my website because I use a lot of my books as lead magnets to get into my website so they can buy my products and things like that as well. Now, with the smart links tracking, are those links to go inside your books, or are those links that you can add like in your ads, for example, in Facebook ads, so that you can see where people are going?
So it's both actually. You can create a link through our platform that basically is actually like a geolocation link where basically if you are in the UK, it will take you to the correct Amazon store. If you are in the US, it will take you to the US and all that. So that's pretty common in the industry, but it will track the clicks. So it gives you it will track the click, which country it came from, so you know where your audience are. You are able to add multiple tags so you can analyze, for example, this newsletter, you create a link, you put in your newsletter, it gives you a lot of clicks. You can see the trends on the graph, but also you can create QR codes that you can put on your back matter, in your book, or wherever you want to put it. And yes, you can put it in your ads as well. So you know that this Amazon ad, or sorry, this Facebook ad, or you post your own blog, you can create your own blog, or you make your own Instagram post, or whatever you want to do. It tracks those clicks. It redirects the user. They most probably going to convert because they get redirected to their, own storefront. So that way they don't have to switch to the UK if they're in the UK, or in the US if they're in the US. It automatically handles all that for you. But we also don't do just Amazon. We also support Apple links. We also support Amazon affiliate links or attribution and all those things. So you are able to track all these things. And also we also support custom links. So which means let's say you have your own website and you want to release a newsletter and you want to track where your audience is clicking more and going to your blog. You create a custom link through us. Through our platform, we give you the link that you can put in your newsletter or where you want to put it, and then you can check in real time and see how many clicks you got for that link, which countries, and then for example, that in the newsletter you released yesterday, 50% of your readers are from the US, but then surprisingly another 40% is from Germany. And you didn't know that you had such a big influence in Germany, right? And then you can target, and that has another knock-on effect where you can target your ads towards the Facebook, for example, Facebook in Germany, or your Amazon ads in Germany. So because you didn't know before that, but now you know that you have a large audience and readers in Germany or any other country, right? So it has the full flexibility of allowing you to do all these things and being able to track. And we track now. We're exiting beta this week, so we've been in beta for 2 months now. We have processed more than 2.5 million link clicks in the last 2 months. So it's been running smoothly. We have authors having more than 10,000 clicks a day. We have other authors making like 1,000 clicks an hour, stuff like that. So we've optimized our service and everything to be able to provide the best service so that when an author clicks when a reader clicks on a link, within a second, they are in the correct Amazon store or wherever they want to go. There is no processing, loading or getting stuck, which some other services might have those, teething problems. And, some authors some readers might be a bit impatient. They're like, oh, I'm not going to buy this book. This link doesn't work, right? So
Yeah.
That you don't want to lose from a certain sale because of issues like that.
Yeah. That's so clever. I mean, there's so many tools in Publisher Champ that I've got like, I've got like 5 tools which do some of the stuff that you do. So this is like all in one place where I can like read everything. So if you haven't had a chance to have a look at Publisher Champ yet, definitely go and have a look at it, because I think you'll be quite amazed about how nice the dashboard looks compared to looking at your KDP dashboard. It really is it is so much nicer. Like, when you're looking at KDP dashboard, sometimes I'm kind of squinting at the screen, not really knowing where to look and not really understanding anything that it's telling me. So yeah, good job with that one.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, and I'm one of the only platforms compared to my competitors where I have a live chat actually, that we handle any requests as long as we are online. We're usually online most of the hours of the day, and it is always at the bottom right of the screen. So if anyone has any questions or want to jump on a quick call to show them around or anything like that, just put a message in there. We'll reply as soon as possible. If we are online, we'll almost reply instantly. So we're more than
Yeah,
happy to give you a tour or answer any of your questions.
great. I can tell you that works because I actually messaged you through that chatbot in order to get you on this podcast in the first place. So
Yeah. That's good.
and you did get back to me pretty quick. So yeah, that is true. So what plans do you have for the future of the tool?
Yeah, for new feature we are working on right now is to be able to add more platforms into Publisher Champ so that you have a bigger view of how you're performing at not just Amazon but any other platform. So we have added Draft to Digital and Barnes and Noble the last 2 months. We're now working to add Ingram's back. We're also working into adding TikTok and Shopify. So the people that that sell on those platforms, they will be able to see their statistics in there. We have also added ACX, so that's already released. And we are working with Find Our Way Voices as well, just to add those. And also on the advertising side of things, we're working on adding Bookbub and
Yeah,
any other platforms that the authors are requesting. So we get a lot of requests every day. We just rank them, we put them together, and then we deliver from there. So if any of the people listening have any, they are missing analytics for a specific platform, feel free to hit us up on the live chat. We'll be more than happy to look into that and add it as soon as possible. So yeah,
brilliant. Big plans.
yeah, definitely. That's the idea. Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, that's really helpful. I mean, there's some really good stuff there about that people can understand about, getting the right KPIs to their business, understanding how to track them and how to use the reports, plus also how to use the tool. So that was really helpful. Thank you very much.
No
So
problem.
just the last question we're going to go to is, what book are you reading at the moment that you recommend that you think everyone should be reading?
Yeah, I mean, I think it applies to a lot of people. One of the book is by Richard Carlson is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Is it doesn't have to, it has to do with self-improvement. I find myself a lot of times, sweating the little stuff, getting put off by things that happen in life. Everyone has their own things happening in life. And if you're an author and you want to focus on your books, you might find yourself being lost or something happened and you lose track and you're like, oh, I have to get back at it again. Or you might be in any industry or any type of thing that you do in your full-time job, or if you're doing also a full-time job as well. It's just I found this book has helped me a lot. Put things into perspective, understand that if you put in the work, and that applies also to authors. If you put in the work and you are consistent, there's going to be ups and downs. As long as you don't dwell on the past and you don't sweat the little thing, you just the small stuff. At the end of the day, at the grand scheme of things, they're not
Mhm.
as important as you being consistent. Focus on your big plan. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it will pay off. And then you might ask yourself, and it's one thing that's been addressed in the book. You might ask yourself, okay, but a lot of people are failing. Yeah, but a lot of people are succeeding as well. Why not you? Right? So spend the time, be consistent, and that's where a lot of people fail. They're not consistent. They just do their work at the beginning, they go hard, then they burn out, and then they just give up. No, is when you're at your lowest that you're gonna improve the best. That's when you just have to keep going, and eventually you see the silver lining, and eventually you progress, and you just overcome that little block that you're currently having, and you can't see past it. So just keep going at it, and just focus on the big picture here.
Brilliant. That's great advice. That is a really good book. I've
Thanks.
read that one as well. So yeah, thank you for that. Well, Eiri, it's been great chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate your time here. If people want to get in touch with you, where's the best place to do that?
So you can hit me up, as I said, on publisherchamp.com. So at the live chats, I am the one handling the live chat. So Again, I'm more than happy at any time to jump on a call or have a discussion through the chat, whatever suits you best. You can also hit me up at eiri@publisherchamp.com. If you want to send me an email and you don't want to go through the live chat or whatever, whatever you prefer, I'm more than happy to answer that. And yeah, so thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. And I look forward to getting more people on board and helping them turn around their business.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. We'll speak soon.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Publishing Performance podcast. I really hope you found today's episode inspiring. I love chatting to authors, writers, and people in the publishing world. Now, just before we wrap up, let me tell you about Publishing Performance, the #1 platform for authors who want to increase Amazon book sales, but are not really sure where to start. Now, this show is all about helping you to sell more books. And if you're looking to boost your publishing game and to maximize your book's potential on Amazon, then Publishing Performance is designed to help authors just like you to grow your readership and to reach a much wider audience. Now, I know that Amazon ads can be slightly complicated, which is why Publishing Performance is like having a personalized ad account manager to create your ad campaigns, to choose your best keywords, and to make adjustments in real time. Now, if you're investing in ads, you really want to make sure that your investment is being used effectively. And Publishing Performance does just that. It aims to make your budget go further, improve your organic rank, and target keywords more effectively. Just go to publishingperformance.com to get started with Amazon ads for just $1.